Liv, another Real Talk app.
Hi, my name's Liv.
And I'm Leonie.
Oh, that was so professional. It sounded like we were about to do some sort of corporate podcast. Can we do that again? Hi, it's Liv.
I'm Leonie, and welcome.
We're here for Real Talk.
Yes, and where we like to talk about all of our qualms and all of our challenges and all of our lessons.
Are we here to talk about our husbands today?
Well, I thought it would be fun.
I actually said to Mark before coming here today, I'll try to just keep it really PC and not try to disparage you too much, but you have really been annoying me lately. Sorry, darling. I'm about to tell all your friends and family.
Love you, bye.
And anyone else who just happens to be listening today. Oh, God love him.
Love it. I feel like everyone loves the juice. Everyone loves the tea. So let's just give them the tea. So I thought today it would be really fun to think about, when was your last fight and what did you fight about?
There are
so many. But which one? Choose one.
Context. Mark and I, we don't have a whole heap of conflict.
Yeah.
We both don't, like, our natural disposition is to not enjoy conflict. So we prefer to talk things through.
Okay.
If we do have conflict, it's typically over, like, the stupidest, pettiest things.
Yep.
Often in times of, like, peak stress where it's the thing that just, like, tips you over the edge.
Yes.
So the thing that tipped me over the edge last week was when I got in the car at 6 a.m. to drive to the airport and I had no petrol. Context being, I was in Mark's car. He had driven it the day before. And I got in the car in the morning at 6 a.m. and I have 3 kilometres left in the tank.
Oh, no.
And can you imagine? I exploded. Like, how could you be so insensitive and disorganised to not find the time to fill that up, knowing, like, I don't know if he knew I was going to the airport the next day.
Let's pretend you did.
Let's pretend he did. And actually, who knows if I was going to the airport or just, but I had his car the next day and there was no petrol in it. I absolutely lost my...
So wait, you stormed back into the house and left your shit? Or
no,
instead of just
I
going
sent
to
him a photo of the 3 kilometres left in the tank and said, what the fuck is this? A bit louder on the mic. What the F is this? Like, you know how little things can just set off, you know, a feeling of, like, you're not considerate of me, or how dare you not think, like, me, how selfish to actually put that out there. But at that time I was just kind of like, there is so much on my plate and this was one thing that you could have helped me with and instead you didn't. And so poor Mark responds with, yesterday it said there was 30 kilometres left in the tank, but now there's 3. I was like, so what, is there a petrol leak or something? Like, where did the other 28 litres go? 27 litres. My maths is really bad. But, like, it just didn't evaporate. So it just, you know, when I'm like, bless him, he was just trying to be like, no, I would have filled it up. I would have, darling. I am now confident he will never, ever do that again. So I'm glad he's a very fast learner. And back to my earlier point, he doesn't like conflict, so anything he can do. Yes. But yes, that's probably the most recent example.
So
I will think of another one while you tell me what's been going on in your life.
So for mine, it's like, it's funny because your dynamic's so different to mine. I am this feisty Greek-Nigerian human being where I like to, if I'm annoyed, I can't hide it. It's like everyone knows, it's a whole thing. I'm a passionate individual, which has a great side.
Fire. I felt that fire a lot in my life.
But it also has a shadow side where I just, you know, and often when I get really worked up, I can't think rationally and I just get swept up in my emotions. And then I know I'm acting like a child, but I can't stop it. I know it.
You know,
I know.
And you're like, I do not care that I'm being an A-grade twat.
Absolutely. Like the one that comes to mind on the I know I'm acting like a child, but I can't do anything about it was I did a recent, or not even recent, a couple of weeks ago now, a solo episode about the souvlaki fight.
I was going to say, our time at the rugby.
Yes.
You left out your husband calling me.
Yeah.
Like, can you talk some sense into her? I said, nah, mate, that's all on you.
You married her, you deal with her. No I'm just on the friend, you know, I'm on the edge. So basically what happened was, for those of you who haven't heard this solo app, I'll literally tag it in the show notes because it is quite hilarious. I was at the rugby with Liv. We're having a few drinks. We're having a good time. And then as we're leaving, I really want a lambs on chaps, which is, for those of you who don't know, it's this souvlaki store on Chapel Street. It's like a 24/7 one, and they do really good souvlaki. And I was like, right, we're going all the way to Chapel Street so I can get my souvlaki. That's what we're going to do next. And Jules is like, dude, there's a souvlaki stand right there. Why don't you just get one there? Like, yeah, like it's they have souvlaki. And I'm like, it's just not going to be the same as lambs on chaps. And I'm like, you never let me do all the things I want to do. Like, just this one thing that I really need. Like, this one, nothing is going to plan. I just need this one thing in my life and you won't let me do. And he's like, Leonie, but we could just turn around and go to that one. And I was like, and I know I'm being a child. So I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. So I'm like, oh, I have to just go to this souvlaki stand? Like, oh, fine. So I go and get my souvlaki and eating it. And I was like in the biggest half with him all night.
Like classic, like the kids, you'd already decided
it
was going to be terrible before you were even taken a bite.
Exactly. And then there was a confusion because I wanted chips inside. I'm like, lambs on chaps, they know what it's like when I ask for chips inside. That's how the Greeks do it. Whereas I'm like, chips inside. And they're like, what? I'm so confused. Like, chips on the side, and Jules is like, no mate, sorry, it's chips inside. And I'm like, see Jules, this wouldn't happen at lambs on chaps. Like, this is and I know as I'm saying it, I'm like, you are acting like a 3-year-old. You are acting like a 3-year-old, and I can't stop it.
Can't
stop it. I'm on the train now. Don't care. Yeah, so irrational. So anyway, I would say so. That was like, we have little tips like that all the time. But the good thing is Jules is kind of like, meh. Like,
he's so chill. You married your perfect match. Without a doubt that he can just be like, whatever. Well, yeah. Because there must be some days where he just goes, like, what age? Like, stop.
Turn the flame down. It doesn't need to always be like bada bing, bada boom.
What is his strategy in moments like that? Like, is it wise to ignore you? Maybe asking for a friend. Like, A, ignore you. 2, like, Mark will use humour to diffuse me. If I am in an agitated, angry state, he will just try and break me into laughter, which often can backfire very quickly. Not gonna this is serious. I'm really pissed with you right now. Do not try and make me laugh. Yeah, it could go either way.
Yeah, okay. He usually just kind of is like very appeasing at the time. He's like, it's okay, we'll get the souvlaki. It's okay, we're going home now. We're not, like, all right, Leonie, whatever. You've just stormed off. Sure. Well, I'll still follow you. But then think about it. When we were in our 20s and we were having a great time, Jules was always that kind of consistent individual. He'd pick us up from clubs, everyone, by the way. I'm like, oh, there are other people listening. I feel like I'm just giving you my intel. But back in the day, to those listening, Jules would pick us up from nightclubs like Boutique Nightclub or Prince Nightclub. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, he'd get out of bed, pick us up. And I'd be like, we want pizza. And he'd be like, okay. And
toasties. Making you a toasty.
He's the toasty king. He makes the best toasties ever. It puts a lot of butter on that's the secret. But he's always kind of been that
just
kind
rock
of guy.
Solid. Your souvlaki story was really making me reflect on the time I went to the souvlaki shop with Mark, and then we started to walk home, and that souvlaki ended up on his head because he said something that I really did not like. So I piffed it with my award-winning shot put arm straight at his head.
And it landed on his head.
I've still got the visual of it. The poor guy, what a sucker. Why did he marry me? I mean, I calmed down a lot. That was like 22 peak, like trashy, crazy party girl. Oh my God. The poor bloke. So maybe you and I and souvlaki, just not a good combination.
Triggering. But the thing is, at the same time, I'm like, you know what you signed up for, mate. Like, yes.
So this is your problem.
We've calmed down a lot, since I say we as in like just everyone, right? We don't kind of go out as much.
We don't throw souvlakis at people.
We're more tame now. But at the same time, every now and then it rears its ugly head where I'm happy to just be completely irrational. Or another one, God, again, where do I even start? I'm like, let me roll out my scroll of all these little tips that we have. But basically, one of them was I'm always irrationally annoyed when he comes back from going away for work. We know this. I mean, guys, those people who have been listening for years, you'd be like, here we go again. But the travel,
fact that he travels for his job.
Work, I know, damn you. The work travel, and the fact that I kind of expect him to come back and be so gracious and appreciative that Leonie held down the fort and thank you, my love, and here's flowers and you're amazing. And he just kind of like carries on as usual. And I'm there going, hello, hi. I survived without you. Yeah. Like, please say nice things to me. And then because we're all in our own little worlds. He's busy. He's just gone away for work. He's got a million things going on. I'm over here being like, I just survived without you. Please tell me I'm amazing. And then that often creates this irrational resentment in my mind as well.
Yeah. I totally get that. And as the person that is Jules travelling in this situation, I've been travelling a lot the last few months, and it occurred to me that I don't actually know what goes on when I'm away, and that's perhaps we're just a bit blind, a bit selfish, right? That we are busy while we are travelling and doing that for our family, but we have no appreciation or oversight, or we're not observing what's happening at home. So you kind of just get home and be like, I've been doing this thing for us, and you at the same time saying, well, I've been doing this really hard thing at home too, just keeping the home fires burning, which is so hard. There's a little bit of that going on for sure.
Everyone's just in their own world with their
trying
own
to do their own thing,
right? And feeling like you're taking one for the team with what it is that you're doing.
Yeah, it's really hard.
It is really hard, and I think this is where, like, if you sort of come full circle, I have a bit of a, obviously take a bit of the piss out of the fact that Jules and I have these like funny fights that I share with everyone, but at the same time, we are in a position where there's a level of, I think if you can resolve relatively well, then it becomes a funny thing and you can move on.
Yeah.
It's those fights and arguments, or, we hear about relationships with other people who just, nothing is really resolved. It's like Band-Aid fix. No one's learning from it. Like the Marks, who's going to always fill the petrol tank now, like
full all the time. Will not drop below half.
Right. But others aren't necessarily doing that. I mean, that's such a, lame example, but you know what I mean? And that's when one day down the track, the relationships that seem seemingly perfect might not be so, because they haven't had the opportunity to argue and have that resolution.
I often say to Mark, I think we need to have more conflict. Like, I think it is a healthy thing, because you are working through whatever might be challenging, whether that is conflict or whether that's just having a really sensible conversation, which is us over the dinner table of, hey, this has been playing on my mind and this isn't working as well for me. Yeah. Or how are you? Probably more importantly too, because how often do you actually just stop and ask your partner, how are you?
Yeah.
Because we're all just so consumed in the chaos of our own, family, but also individual lives, that check-in or awareness of kind of how we're turning up in the relationship and family, is a really interesting thing to reflect on too.
Totally. And I think about it often. I'll be like, Jules will walk through the door and I'll be like, oh, how's your day? And I'm like, unpacking the dishwasher. I'm getting things. I'm like, the kids are screaming. I'm like, and I'm like, that's not really a window.
And then it's like, well, let me tell you about my day. Because we're both drama queens, right? So, like, we hear their stories and like, because they are so considered and calm and unflappable, like, their stories is kind of like, yeah, cool, all right, well, that sounds like a good day, I guess. And then you have to launch into, let me tell you what you should have heard about this meeting, and then this happened, and then this happened. And I'll tell you, they've just got so good at listening to us that they just, like, they must turn down the volume or something. I'd love to, like, see that actually play out. It's a hard thing.
Look, I think at the end of the day, at least we keep it interesting, and that is fundamentally, when you're thinking about longevity in a relationship, if there's a bit of fire and a bit of passion and a bit of interest, it's good. You need it. So I hope to those listening that we've normalised some of your little tiffs and arguments as well that you might have. It is so normal. We have all been there. And if you've got any good ones, DM me, because I, love to
We'd
share.
like to feel better about ourselves. We'll have a few more by the next episode easily.
We'll
so stay tuned.
All right, we'll leave it there, Liv.
Bye.